You know that feeling, right? You check the mail or you see that email notification and bam, it's a letter. Your car insurance claim denied.
Ugh, yeah. Instant confusion, frustration, maybe even a bit of panic.
Totally. And your head just spins with all the info, you know? It feels kind of impossible to know what to do next.
Exactly.
So that's why we're here. We want to cut through all that noise and give you some really key insights, stuff from actual legal experts. So today we're doing a deep dive into navigating these car insurance claim denials. We've looked at sources like legal advice for car insurance claims and bits from denied car insurance claims, your right to appeal.
Yeah, good stuff in there.
We're going to pull out the really important bits for you.
And you know what's really striking from those sources, this isn't some rare problem. Claim denial is actually like one of the most common issues people run into with car insurance.
That's really that common.
Yeah, happens all the time. So you're definitely not alone if it happens to you. And often it boils down to a couple of main things the insurer points to.
Okay, like what?
Well, things like filing the claim too late, maybe, or not having enough evidence to back it up. We can dig into that.
Right.
But the big takeaway, the core thing from these experts is this. A denial isn't like the final word, not at all. It's really a challenge you need to understand. And crucially, you have a right to appeal it.
That's a really powerful idea, a challenge, not just a no. So when you mention late filing or missing evidence, what are the specifics there? What do people typically mess up?
Good question. So on the timing, lots of policies have really strict deadlines for reporting. Sometimes it's super short, like maybe 24 or 48 hours for some things.
Wow, it's quick, especially after an accident.
Exactly. People are often in shock, you know, and they just miss it. And then the evidence piece. It's not just about proving what happened, it's about how well you document everything afterward.
Yeah, the details.
Totally.
Yeah.
The sources really stress this. People often miss keeping like a detailed log of every single time they talk to the insurer. Every call, every email.
Okay, I can see how that gets missed.
And other things too, like maybe getting your own repair estimates if you think theirs is off. Or taking really detailed photos of the scene and the damage, not just one quick snap. It's about building your case step by step.
That makes sense, being super thorough. So, okay, let's talk about the appeal itself. You said we have the right to appeal. Why is that such a big deal for the person making the claim?
Well, this is where it gets interesting, right? Sometimes a denial. It isn't just about the facts. It might be, let's say, a quick way for the insurer to try and close the file.
Oh, really?
Yeah, potentially. But knowing you can appeal, that puts the power back with you. Insurers pretty much always have internal ways to review decisions.
Okay.
Especially if you come back with something new or you present your evidence more clearly, maybe something wasn't obvious the first time. Sometimes they might even be pushing things a bit. And that's where knowing about bad faith can be important.
Bad faith claims. Okay, that sounds serious. What exactly does that mean here? How does that relate to appealing?
Yeah, it is significant. So beyond the standard stuff like late filing, sometimes a denial might cross a line into what the legal sources call bad faith.
Which is?
It's basically when the insurance company doesn't treat you fairly, they act unreasonably, they violate the terms of your contract with them.
So it's not just a mistake, it's like unfair dealing.
Exactly. It's a specific legal idea. Things like delaying your claim for no good reason, lying about what your policy covers, or just denying a valid claim without even properly looking into it.
Okay.
If that happens, it can be seen as bad faith. And knowing that gives you leverage. It signals you understand your rights and they can't just brush you off.
Got it. So knowing you can appeal and knowing about this bad faith potential, what are the actual concrete steps the legal experts suggest if your claim gets denied or if you feel the insurer is being unfair?
Right, the practical stuff. The sources usually point to two main actions. First, file a written complaint and be detailed.
Not just a quick email.
No, this needs to be formal. Put your policy number, the date of the incident, why they denied it, and then clearly explain why you think they're wrong. Point to your policy if you can. You need that record.
Okay, makes sense. Create a paper trail.
Precisely. That documentation is critical if things escalate. And the second step, often done alongside the first, is to talk to an attorney, specifically one who knows insurance law.
Right. So when does it make sense to actually call a lawyer versus just sending the complaint letter?
That's a really good point. Look, the written complaint is a strong first move. But you probably want a lawyer if things are more complicated.
Like what kind of complications?
Well, think about cases with serious injuries, or where the claim amount is really large, or Definitely if you strongly suspect they're acting in bad faith, like we just discussed.
Okay.
And it's not always about suing them immediately. Often just a letter from a lawyer who gets insurance law. That can be enough. It shows the insurer you're serious, you know your stuff, and it might make them rethink their decision without ever going near a courtroom.
So these steps really do help shift the power back.
They absolutely do. Knowing these options puts power back in your hands.
So as we've kind of unpacked today, really getting a handle on your rights with something like car insurance, it can totally change the outcome, can it?
Definitely. Knowledge is power here.
It really makes you think, though. Where else in life could digging a bit deeper into your consumer rights or your legal rights make a similar big difference? Just something to chew on, maybe explore other areas you haven't thought about.